Hi, welcome to this new series of mine. I am so I'm a writer, and I have many story ideas that you know, never. I don't see myself actually like turning into full-on stories. At least not right now, because I suffer from writer's block constantly, and so yeah. And I also really want to be a voice actor, but I haven't gotten into any projects yet, and so I thought of something. Mike does improv, and basically, I have like a rough idea of a scenario, and I sort of just improv like dialogue and details and whatnot. So I got like a rough idea, but details, nitty gritty details, all improv. And so if there's anything that's sort of rough and kind of mid, it's fine. There's no script here. I just want to practice. With voice acting and with storytelling and improv, because improv I think is a very useful thing. Um, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Hi, um, I wanted to make this as a way to ask for help. I've been suffering from something, and I'm not sure what to do. I've done so much research trying to find out anything about what I've been going through, and there's nothing. There's nothing. And so here I am, making a video, hoping someone out there finds it and can give me help, can give me answers to this. I've always been a rather lonely and isolated person. When I go to school, I don't talk to anyone. I don't ever raise my hand, and I do the bare minimum when the teacher asks me to talk. The point is, I hate socializing, and so I spend most of my time just in my bed, just laying and thinking. You gotta just stare up at the ceiling and just think. That's all I can do. I don't particularly like using a cell phone, and I don't really have any interesting hobbies, so I just think, just let my mind wander. Yeah, and I eventually fall asleep, and that's basically me. That's basically my life. But there was one particular night that kind of changed everything. You see, one night I got up and I wanted to go get a glass of water from the kitchen. So I opened my bedroom door and I see this land. It was so weird. It didn't make sense. It's so weird. It was like another world of, I don't even know how to word it. It looked like it came out of a dream. It reminded me of, what does it remind me? Like the eye doctor. There was this test with it was like a lot of grass, and there was a balloon, and there's just endless grass. That's what it reminded me of. There was just endless grass as far as the eye could see, and I thought I was dreaming. So I pinched myself. I did everything, and no, this was real. And so I let curiosity get the best of me, and naturally I took my steps and entered. I looked behind me, the door was still there. I could go back home or go back to my bed, but I was curious, and I was sort of half hoping that I could find my water bottle, or find myself some water here, because I was thirsty. So I walked. I kept walking, and nothing. It was just endless land, and I don't even know how to describe it. It was such a weird feeling. It was a little uncomfortable just being in this endless world of nothingness, and the fact that I entered this through my bedroom door, you know, it was weird. It was very weird. But eventually I got tired, you know, just walking and walking. You know, my feet were beginning to hurt, and I just, I kind of decided, you know, maybe I could just rest out here. You know, I mean, I wanted to run back to my bedroom, but so far, I was walking for probably like 30 minutes, and it would just take forever to get back. So I figured, you know, I'd just rest here. So I closed my eyes and opened them. I was back in my room. It was so weird. I originally thought it was all just a dream, you know. Oh yeah, it's just a dream, you know. I opened my door, and it was, you know, it was normal. I went to go get a glass of water, you know, and that was that. Then the same thing happened the next night, you know. The next night, I went to my bed, you know, asleep. I wake up, and I look out. I open my door, and this time it's a arcade of some kind. It was uncanny though, because, you know, no one was there. It was just machines and all like colorful and neon lights, and I was naturally just like very drawn in. I mean, arcade. I don't know. What the heck, you know? So I got up. I walked through. I walk in, and I walked through this arcade, and yeah, it was an arcade. Again, it felt very like dreamlike, and it felt very uncomfortable. And again, I walked, and I eventually got tired, went to sleep, and woke back up, and it was in my bed again. And this happened for a few months. This has been happening for a few months now. It was happening for months and months, and, you know, it was, at first the spaces were very, you know, unsettling and creepy, but, you know, I eventually grew a sense of comfort in it, because, you know, constantly being in my bedroom, just isolated, it got boring. It got so terribly boring, and so it was nice to have a change of scenery. A place where I could still be isolated, but just have something more to look at, you know? So I walked, and, yeah, it was nice. But then there's a particular night that changed everything. So, you know, I woke up, and I looked at my, you know, bedroom door, opened it, and sure enough, it's a new place. This day, what was it? It was that night, it was, I believe it was a school. Yeah, it was a school. It was a weird, empty school. I walked through it, and it all seemed comforting at first, but then I saw this man. He just stared at me. Didn't say anything, you know, didn't try to rush at me or anything like that. You know, I tried saying hello, hi, and it didn't say anything. He just stared at me. And the weird part is, I can't even describe how he looked, which it doesn't make sense, because like I remember feeling so uncomfortable by it, and feeling so like disoriented and creeped out by it, and just unsettled, and everything, all the emotions, and yet I can't describe him. I don't remember what he looks like, but it's so weird. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how I remember how uncomfortable I am every time I see him in my dreams, and yet I wake up and I don't remember what he looks like, but in the dream, I know I saw him, I know I could see it, I just don't remember what he looks like now. I can't describe him, and I remember he looked like a regular man. He didn't even look like all that. He was so ordinary, and yet I can't describe the features that were on his face, or if he had hair. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Do his eye color, skin tone. I couldn't remember. I can't remember anything about him. I just remember the sense of dread, and I just kept, I started to just run. I ran, and he followed. He matched my speed, but he didn't try to hurt me or anything. But this sense of dread of just this thing, this person, this guy, I hated it. It was terrifying. But then I decided to face my fears, I guess. I was feeling daring. I don't know why, but I turned around, I looked at him, and I ran towards him, and I touched him. I bolted right up from my bed. And I'll never forget the first time, the first, feelings, everything, the first experience, it was, I hated it. And this has been happening for weeks now. This man has invaded my dream, and I don't know how to get him to leave. I don't even know what these spaces are. Is it just in my head? I don't think it can't be. It's been so consistent and repeating, and just the way these dreams it can't be, right? No one just dreams the same thing over and over. And I mean, I guess technically the spaces were different, but the setup, it was still the same. And it's still the same with this guy, these spaces that brought me the sense of comfort are now being invaded by this man, and I don't know how to get rid of him. And so I ask you, how do I get rid of him? How do I get him out of my, what do you even call them? I don't know. I just want him gone. I just want my spaces back. I just want to be alone again. Please help. And that was, I'm not sure what to call it yet. But whatever the title of this video is, that is what this is. I had a lot of fun, sort of just thinking of stuff on the spot. And yeah, it was actually really fun. I'm definitely gonna do more of these, because this, it's very fun to get, it's very fun to sort of get my creative ideas out there without having to commit to full-on writing, like a full-on script and like a novel. I just don't have the motivation right now, the writer's block sucks. One day I may turn this into a full-on novel, but right now it'll stay as like a little improv, setup idea, what have you. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.